Gen Z is said to be the loneliest generation. We're seeing ourselves become more and more distant, more and more incapable of connecting with each other, which is why I reached out to a clinical psychologist to help me break down how we got here and how to fix it. I hope you stick around because there are some pretty powerful messages later on. But first, a reminder to how life used to be.
Come with me for a second while we take a quick flashback to the past. The streets buzz with conversation, neighbors sit at a front porch that isn't just for show. It's a gathering spot for you to enjoy an unplanned visit from a friend. The days when gatherings were spontaneous. Invitations weren't sent through a quick text, but through phone calls on landlines or handwritten notes. Moments were lived and felt deeply. Communication wasn't measured in likes, but in hugs and shared secrets. Every moment was savored in real time. Now let's switch back to the present. A world more connected digitally than ever before, yet still an entire generation finds itself trapped.
Surrounded by a sea of online connections, yet feeling profoundly alone.
Think of yourself, illuminated by the dim glow of your screen, parade of images dances before your eyes. There's reunions, parties, candid moments of happiness caught mid-laughter, broadcasts of seemingly perfect snapshots of life. Why is it, when everyone else seems to be united in the warm embrace of friendships, do you feel like an outsider peering in through a frosted window? Each photo, each story unintentionally deepening the pain, leaving you to wonder what's missing in me that I don't have those connections. I'm here to tell you there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing missing in you that's preventing you from having those connections. And if you stick with me today, you'll know exactly how to escape the cycle of loneliness. Together, with insights from a doctor and a seasoned life coach, we'll uncover the roots of isolation in this digital era and chart a path toward genuine connection and belonging. Still with me? Good. Let's get right into it and explain how we got here. In knowing the root cause of all this loneliness, we will be better tasked at understanding and combating the loneliness. After all, it's not like we just woke up one day and found ourselves in a drastically changed world, struggling to connect with one another. No, we've slowly watched ourselves become obsessed with busyness and burdened with overstimulation. The more money we make, the more valuable our time becomes to us, and the less we come to think of free time as success. For many of us, free time has actually come to signify failure. But the more time we spend on ourselves, furthering our own goals, the more we find ourselves contemplating why we feel so alone. Especially when those rare moments we do find ourselves free, they're completely bombarded with overstimulation. In today's world, endless content at our fingertips fills our moments effortlessly. We can access entertainment anytime, anywhere.
Our distractions consume all of our mental bandwidth, depriving us of the capacity to truly engage with those around us.
You have a lot of individuals who believe they can get everything they need from looking at their phone, right? Young people who play video games to connect versus actually go out and play soccer. Other individuals who get all their information from the social media apps versus actually go out and get involved and have discussions about it with their friends. So that's been a big shift over the years. And it certainly creates more isolation, right? And the more isolated you are, the more tendency to have higher levels of depression and anxiety.
We might not admit to distancing ourselves from human connection, but our actions tell a different story. How many times have you prioritized TikToks over tangible experiences, personal texts over genuine touch, and curated Instagram posts over genuine in-person interactions? When most of your free time is spent on social media, you fall into the comparison trap. You compare your own life to someone else's highlight reel, and you find yourself questioning whether or not you're good enough, smart enough, attractive enough. No wonder it's shown that heavy social media use is very likely to coincide with feelings of aloneness and isolation. Right now, in this present moment, it's the best it will be. Just look at the technology that is being developed. So much of it will further distance us. Augmented reality that allows us to have conversations with holograms not actually present in the room with us. AI models that tempt us to have conversations with a robot rather than a real person. Store checkouts with technology that allows us to complete our entire shopping process without even speaking to a single person. It's easy to see why we are the loneliest generation ever, and if you don't do anything about it on your own, it will have so many negative effects on your life. People who experience social isolation have a 32% higher risk of early death.
I look at relationships and I look at the anxiety and depression I experience in my practice. And probably 95% of the anxiety and depression come from poor and or disconnected relationships. So when people are able to go out and build and establish healthy connections, healthy real relationships, it decreases that anxiety, it decreases the depression, it increases their connectivity and thus decreases their loneliness. So what happens in the next handful of years with AI, it's a bit of a scary world for me.
So without wasting any more time, let's talk about how to fix it. Turning your life into what you pictured it could be is actually much simpler than you might think. Life, as they say, is a collection of habits, a recurring set of actions that often run on autopilot. For many, it's a repetitive rhythm of wake up, work, scroll on social media, and sleep. Or maybe it's wake up, go to school, binge watch some TV, and go to sleep. Sound familiar? Over and over again, the process repeats itself. But here's the truth. Transformation doesn't demand a revolution overnight. It's about those incremental 1% shifts that accumulate into profound changes over time. So we start by decluttering the distractions. Make it harder to use your phone or distracting websites when you don't need to. Declare that from this point forward, you must tie the action to a healthy one. How about only indulging in that TV episode while on the treadmill? Or each time you feel tempted to reach for that phone and open up Instagram, counter it by visualizing the richer, more connected life awaiting you.
I think it's moderation, right? There's nothing wrong with being on Instagram. There's nothing wrong with watching a movie. There's nothing wrong with playing video games, but it's moderation like everything else. And the problem with the technology is most people in general, doesn't matter age really, they don't moderate it. So they've got to be able to put some moderators in there and realize it's not just one thing that they want to put their time into. They need to have 4 or 5 different things, so not all eggs are in one basket.
Remember, small progression here is key, and every day you triumph over these distractions is a day that you inch closer to your goal.
I think the important thing, if you think about loneliness and isolation, right? I don't want to say it's completely self-imposed, but it's a choice, right? If you don't want to experience that feeling, there's something that you can do about it. You're not trapped.
Envision a new you. You are no longer a lonely person who spends most of their time alone. You are someone who has a healthy circle of friends that supports each other. Now prove it to yourself. Each action from this point forward solidifies that viewpoint. Each time you attempt to be more social, it's a win that nudges you closer to your new identity. Start simple, join a dance class, a volleyball team, a book club, even a visit to your local coffee shop can be transformative.
And when you pick things to go do, pick things that actually resonate with you, right? If you're not a runner and you're not interested in running, don't join a running club. If you're a volleyball player and you've played before but you want to get back on the scene, then find a group of people who are doing that. Find like-minded individuals doing the same thing so that you feel like there's some level of connection and comfort. It's not about jumping in the deep end of the pool. It's really though about wading in the water until you can finally swim and make your way across. That's what it's about.
And embrace the edge of discomfort. That flutter in your chest, that hesitation, it's your sign to dive in.
What you're talking about is getting comfortable being uncomfortable, right? And if you have a fear, the only way you go over fear is take medication or you face the feared stimulus. So if you're afraid of dogs, in order to get over the fear of dogs, you gotta pet the dog. You don't have to pet the dog right away, but you've got to build a system and work towards it and desensitize yourself to that feared stimulus.
Loneliness is just a chapter and not the entirety of your story. The keys to rewriting your narrative lie within the choices you make daily. With every decision to engage, to step out, to reach beyond the comfort of the familiar, you write a tale of connection, of belonging. So don't let the digital ages overshadow the beauty of genuine human interaction. As you step into this new chapter, remember that every attempt to connect, every push beyond your comfort zone brings you one step closer to a life filled with genuine bonds and unforgettable shared moments. Thank you for watching. If you like that, you should check out my next video, where I use computer science and AI to fix my own loneliness. So you can find that right here.